Okay, okay again everybody, I want to say welcome again to another video with me, Wushu Richard. In this video we're going to talk about violence, okay, violence, and I mean anti-violence really this is about, because I hate violence, okay, really do, and martial arts talks about violence a lot, right, is violent in terms of the combat and the fighting. Usually martial arts is, when someone thinks of martial arts, they think of fighting usually, right? And anyone who is a martial artist actually trains the violence, right? Trains the violent techniques that could be used in a violent way. We train fighting techniques, combat techniques, ultimately, right? And definitely the people who like martial arts like it for that also, including myself. We like it, we like the training. It's very intense, exciting, interesting, the power, the feeling, even sometimes the feeling of like, it's very like surreal, isn't it? It's very surreal, it's very like, you know, you like the feeling of like, anyone will like, let's say martial artists will probably enjoy the feeling of striking something, like striking a bag or striking some training apparatus, even like pad training and stuff like you get in boxing, even like sparring with people and things like. We like the feeling of like actually the fighting. We like the feeling of striking. We like the feeling of not getting hit, avoiding the hit, the feeling of it, the actual blocking, the strategy, and then going in and striking, and the feeling of seeing ourselves, let's say, or envisioning ourselves beating something in front of us with our fists, with our feet, and envisioning it as, let's say, if someone was going to attack us on the street or any kind of negative force, because there's dangerous people out there in this world. You know, we like the feeling of knowing that we'd be safe enough to defend and also put that guy's lights out, okay? You know, basically, right, to just say, you know, to stop that was going to try to attack us. Now I've got a cup of tea here, okay, so it's all good. Excuse me, I just love my tea, man. I'm English, but you know, I've been living in China for 10 years, but I just can't put down that cuppa, y'all. But let's get back onto the subject now. Really here, you know, violence. You know, violence is wrong. Violence is totally wrong. When I say like surreal, okay, like in the martial arts when we train, it's like kind of surreal, because we might like the feeling of blocking someone's attack and then striking someone in the head or punching him in the body, but we don't imagine, even in sparring, let's say, but we don't imagine that the actual pain that we deliver to someone or the actual damage. If you were injured, or if you were, let's say, hurt, or your bones were broken or whatever, you know, you would feel so much, you would feel the pain, right? Unless there's something wrong with you, and it's not a good thing, is it? So we know that, obviously, right? We should do, but it's like, you know, martial arts in general. Martial arts is for the mature, and he's got to be trained from a young age, and that's why it's also helping. That's why martial arts training can help young kids, you know, to learn to be better people as they grow up too. Because a lot of young kids, you know, like to fight anyway. But it's like, you know, some people don't never grow up though. Some people grow up to be more peaceful people, but some people grow up and they never knew. You know, they're like rough growing up. They become tough, and then their whole life they're just kind of like still disillusioned, I feel, in their mind. And some people, like, they're still kind of like this tough. It's just in their character. It's been part of their development ever since they were growing up as a kid. So it's part of them. That's why they might get into arguments easily or things like that. It still shows through in them. They've still got this, as we say, azzy, okay, which means like negativity, you know. So anyway, though, so basically it's ego, you know. So basically, though, martial arts is for the good. So martial arts is for protecting life. If you're talking about the fighting strategies and the training, that's for protecting life. That's what it was always about back in the ancient history. And martial arts is there for your health. So you're training to be healthy so that you can stand up and not be beaten by anything. You're stronger than whatever's trying to beat you. You train harder than that. So it means diseases or sickness, anything like that, you know, to be able to stand and train, you know, in all kinds of weather and things. People have trained like maniacs. I mean, some people, but it's like, it's there to train yourself to be stronger in mind and body, as well as, you know, if someone's going to attack you, and how to fight and defend against that. Back in the day, when there were no guns and all that, you know, it was all about other weapons, you know, bladed weapons and things like that in the ancient days. So people were fighting with whatever they had, sticks or whatever it might have been, homemade, this or that. But it's like the physical techniques of the body and how you move. And the people that were more physically strong, let's say, or in control, let's say, coordinated in their balance and the way, those people, more athletic, let's say, more agile, those people would definitely be the better fighters, right? Excuse me. Although anyone can come unstuck, you know. So the basic thing is like, it depends how you move. So we always say the weapon is like, or anything is like an extension of you. So a weapon is just an extension of your arm, right? So having your hand, the way you move, and you're not always going to be armed. So when you're using your body, you train. So you train your body first and foremost, your mind and body, right? It needs to be done. And you need to train yourself, as I say, and you need to train yourself to be stronger in life and more in control of yourself for anything you do in your life. We will come up against negativity, so there are different forms of fighting, as I say, and it's all a development and a strategy, you know. It's like, how can I explain this? It's like, I've said this before, like if you are you know, we say like in the martial arts you should be able to like control an opponent or control someone's trying to attack you, let's say. You should be able to, let's say, get a restraint on them or get a control where you're not harming the person, right? You're using your martial arts or your fighting tactics to, without, let's say, breaking someone up, you know, and really hurting them badly. It's like you just get control of the situation. Let's say you're using like a Tai Chi or an Aikido kind of technique, let's say, where you're controlling, but you're not harming them. But that's like masterful ways that can be. If you're really not, you know, exerting any force as such, and you're just going with the flow, and you're just going with their flow of energy and controlling them, okay, without having to like wrestle, you're just finding the easiest way to deal with it. That's very difficult. That's like masterful ways. And you might be a practitioner of something like Aikido or Tai Chi, right? But what I'm saying is like, let's say, for example, as I've said before, there's the point, like if you were not very skilled in that, or let's say you had better skills and better experience in something like boxing or Muay Thai, a hard hitting, you know, skill, right, a fighting art. So martial arts teaches us to be wise and, you know, utilize our best abilities and best skills and what we have, and to be wise in life, to get the right things done. So sometimes you need to do things which are not, you know, the best choice, but you have to be wise and choose what you're better at. If you were to choose, you know, for the whole purpose of moral and things like that, if you were to choose to use, you know, your Tai Chi or your Aikido, a soft kind of art where you try to restrain an opponent, let's say someone who's trying to attack you, then your skills might not be as good, let's say, and you may come unstuck. You could even get killed by the guy or badly hurt. Whereas if you were to have just resorted to your best skills, which you know you're good at, which is your boxing or your Muay Thai, your hard hitting stuff, and if you were to kick and punch that guy out and stop him flat out, but you would have hurt the guy a little bit, you know, maybe, then it's the same thing, like cut off the hand to save the arm, you know, as people say, figure of speech. And it's like you've okay, so you've had that's the thing there. You've had to exert yourself, you've had to do that, and you've had to hurt someone a bit. But in the end of the day, it's better than you've been killed. It's like you could say, well, no, you should always put moral first. You should still choose the Tai Chi way, or you should, or no matter what. But then that's foolishness, right? It would also be very foolish, don't you think, if you were to say, oh, well, you know, moral comes first. Okay, I don't want to hurt this guy, so I'll put my own life at risk and be a hero and use my Tai Chi. If he kills me, he kills me, but I'm not going to unleash punches and kicks on this guy and give him a simple bruise on his body. You see what I'm trying to say? Like, you'd be so humble and so monk-like. If you were like that, you may choose to do it and be wise, and that would be seemingly very kind, and but to me it would seem like you'd be wasting your life, you'd be foolish. Because some people learn the hard way, so it's like, but then again, but also like if you unleash your violence on someone, even an attacker in self-defense, but you unleash an attack on someone, hurt someone, hold on, would that person learn? This is the whole point. Would that person learn from it? Maybe not. It's like you put people in prison, or you punish a little kid, or you or you knock someone the fuck out. Whatever. Some people come back for revenge. They come out as nasty people. They come back and they're more filled with hate and rage. You know, they didn't. Whereas if you see in a lot of old like kung fu films and things like this, where you see like someone using a restraint, some kind of control, where it's very masterfully, expertly controlled, and they've got control of the situation, and they've let the guy walk off. They've helped the guy up, and it hasn't been just like they've brutalised the guy or shown him up, but the person's shown control and skill and ability and amazed the guy, but they've also compassion, or have shown compassion, and then the guy turns around and respects that. But sadly, people, and especially nasty people, bullies who are actually cowards, you know, sadly these people in real life are the same, and people like that in real life, sometimes they really don't care for your compassion. They see it as weakness no matter what, and it's something that they can't understand. So people that don't understand things naturally fear, right? And they naturally fear, and they naturally hate, and they naturally want to try and eradicate this thing rather than study anything, any logic behind the thing, let alone study the thing. And like these people will be like, you know, they don't understand it, they don't want to try to understand it, and they think, well, this must be wrong, you know, and they fear it as such. So it's like they think they see you as an enemy, and it's like, so they more so, and it's like they are just so humiliated. They want to feel that they're in control. Nobody wants to feel that someone else is in control. Who are you? No matter how nice you are. So it's very, very hard, especially if you know you don't want to show people up too. And a lot of people want to get into fights and stuff in front of their mates. You know, some of these idiots when they make a show up in front of their friends in a bar or wherever you might be. But then again, as I've told you, I don't go to bars and pubs and waste my life like some people. I'm just saying, you call it socialising, but you know, at the end of the day, what you're doing with your health or with a bunch of people that don't give a damn about themselves. But going back to what I'm saying, right, there's different situations in different groups of people, fair enough. But going back to what I'm saying though, the basic thing, right, is there are people out there who look for trouble, and especially people that have been like, drinking and things like that, and that you have to avoid as well. But I'm just saying though, there are people that are out there, thugs or nasty people that would try to attack you or rob you. They might not even be nasty as such people, but they might be like desperate, they might be starving, they might be homeless. You know, I remember I was attacked, but not physically. Just for example here, one example, I remember when I was in London years ago, and there was a young girl who came to me, and she asked me for £1, I think it was. Like, she seemed like she was homeless, you know, a girl. And I felt, of course, my natural instinct was kicking in. What's all this, you know? And but naturally, I just wanted to be kind, so I pulled out some money from my pocket like a dickhead, excuse my language, and I looked at the money and I was like, oh damn, you know, I need to get this changed though, I'm going to give it to you, I only have this, and before I could even finish what I was going to say, she just laughed in my face, snatched it out of my hand and ran away, and ha 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 ha, she stole that, I think it was £10 or £5, whatever it was, and she ran off, and I think there was a group of men also homeless or whatever, and she ran to them, so there was a homeless group. But I'm not going to hate her if she really was homeless at this age. She's a young kid, maybe she's working for other people too, you know what I mean? At all, I'm forgive for all of that. Because people are in this disillusioned reality, and especially young people who don't have a clue anyway, and maybe being forced into it too, so you just don't know. But it's like, it's sad when you see people who are doing wrong things of any age, though, and older people that are nasty, but they just can't. And this is a kind of an attack in a way, you know what I mean? Robbing people, right, and attacking people, but it's like, and it's like, it's a shame when you feel like you can't help them, or you would like to be able to do something good, you know, for them, more than just give that little bit of money. And I had to get robbed in the process. I had to lose my bit, you know, it's not, I didn't lose my life, but you know, you lose what you've been working for, and that's your time in your life, and there's meaning behind what you do in your life, that's true, even if you are wasting your time, like, doing a rubbish job or something you don't like, you know. But it's like, there is meaning, like, you've given that time, and it's just like, if you are getting robbed and getting more robbed, and you're just feeling you're wasting your life, you should be doing something worth with your life. And nothing can replace your life, you know, nothing can pay for your life either. So go back to what I was saying though. Yeah. But the thing I was going to say is, like, so that's basically it. We're just talking about violence and different kinds of views on violence. Now we see it in terms of being attacked in any way, physically attacked, someone trying to hurt you, you know. And so that in martial arts though, we talk about this. And I'm saying, going to like the restraints though, you know, you might have a very good restraint on someone, you might not hurt the person, but you hurt them mentally. There's another good point while we're here on violence, and violence comes in all forms, don't forget. I mean, there's mental bullying, there's physical bullying, but we're going into another abuse and this and that. But what I'm trying to say is, like, I forgot what I was going to say to you, damn, but, just forgotten what I was going to say again. I hate it when that happens, but, oh, damn, I just forgot what I was going to say to you, but if, so anyway, but a physical abuse. If someone's going to attack you, you know, it's like, how do you deal with it? That's the basic. Oh yeah, that's what I was going to say. I've just remembered what I was going to say before I forget again. It's about people in life who feel, what do you call that word? Being offended. You know, people that feel they've been offended. And I've mentioned this before, that by words, by something you say might offend someone, or people that feel that they've been offended, okay? Now, this is the thing, okay? I remember a rap song by Eminem, one of my favourite rappers, like Eminem, legend, but Eminem also once said in one of his songs, his lyrics were really, really good, where he said, really to the point. He said, you find me offensive. He said, I find you offensive for finding me offensive. He said, you find me offensive, well, I find you offensive for finding me offensive. And what a point has he got there is so good. Yeah, the point is true. And it's like they say, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me, they used to say, right? So you're offended, you've been hurt mentally or emotionally by what someone said. Words from their mouth muscles just moving in their mouth like that, from their ideas about you, what they think they know about you, when they don't even know you, they're totally wrong, and it doesn't even affect your life at all. They can just go and F off, right? Excuse my language. If you feel offended or, you know, ashamed, or you feel your life is worth less now because they think that, you know, you feel offended. It's not that they've offended you, it's that you feel offended. You feel it. It's your feeling, you're unhappy, you do this, your ego, whatever. So you feel bad because of someone's, what they're thinking or what they're saying, wasting breath from their lungs and they're blowing it from their mouth because they're a spaz and they don't know you. And excuse my language, they don't have a clue, right? So it doesn't matter. If someone's negative, that's pity on them. They're wasting their life away, right? If someone's positive and it's like, they still could be wrong. They could be like being nice to you because of what they think, but then again they might be wrong about that. So they're being overly nice or not needed, but it doesn't matter, right? People, you learn more. I mean, it's like, you be kind, and that's the most important thing. But negativity is no good. Being negative. If you are, you learn from the good and bad in others and from your own mistakes. That's true. But, you know, so this isn't violence we're talking about here, okay? We haven't even talked about physical violence exactly yet at all. Really. You know, but I've had some bullying when I was a kid. I was bullied, as I say. I've had some physical violence, you know, not the most fights, but I have had situations. I'm not going to get into too much detail in this video. And also violent encounters like on the streets and that, when I've had to defend myself with martial arts. Not too many, but one specifically I remember. Basically, there was some strange guy in China, okay, some strange guy on the street trying to drag me away down some alley. I don't know who he was saying, come with me, come with me. I tried to walk away, he came back, kept dragging my arm. I don't want to boast about it, but I literally give him a couple of roundhouse kicks, high right roundhouse kicks towards his head. He put his hand up to defend that. but I did high kicks. It wasn't like full blast. I wasn't really trying to hurt anybody, but I actually I was just trying to get the guy away from me. And he did back off, and he did walk back, and he gave up about it. And I had my hands up in like a kung fu stance. I felt kind of cool in myself, but I was like so focused on that guy doing this martial art, the stance I was in. I was really, because I believe in my kung fu and I do it. You know, most people think, "What are you doing there, kung fu? Are you joking about?" It's like I was really focused. And I was really ready to unleash some kicks, you know, on the guy who was going to come back. And that's how it was. The same way people like nowadays do MMA, and it's like, put a baseball cap on. Here you go. I'm not doing all that. Okay, I'm a little skinny kid. I was doing my kung fu. I was just like, get ready, you know. But it was like I was looking around if anyone was going to come out and try to help him, you know. But it was a strange man trying to drag me down this alleyway. Anyway, as I said, I've been mugged on many occasions. I've been chased around. I've been beaten up or attacked by groups of thugs. I've been robbed. I've had bikes ridden over my body. I've had all kinds of crap happen in my life growing up as a kid. Okay, couple of fights, not too many, but it's been hard. But for the most part, I've avoided a lot of violence though. And I've come out of it much better than some people. I mean, I've seen some people that were getting physically bullied every day. Physically, I mean, beaten up in school and that very badly, and people that were taking the piss out of basically, and made fun of constantly. I've always hated bullies. I was bullied as a kid so badly, it affected me so much in my life, you know. And you know, there's people getting abused now. There's people in families and stuff that are getting all kinds of abuse. You know, behind the closed doors nobody knows about. There's people in this world now getting tortured. Can you imagine that? There's people in this world now going through some shit that nobody knows about. People getting attacked, raped, beaten, killed, stabbed. Can you imagine? I've never been stabbed, luckily, or shot, but can you imagine a knife going into your body? Have you ever had it? A blade? I mean, this is just absolutely awful. You've only got one body, you need to protect it. And the same about like certain martial art techniques and stuff. We talk about like some of these dangerous techniques, like gouging in the eyes, poking the eye. That is so disgusting. Breaking bones, arm locks and breaking bones and fucking, you know what I mean though? It's just disgusting. I would never do that to someone, ripping the flesh off of someone, kicking them in the groin. It's just so disgusting. You know what I mean? I would never ever break someone's neck or like smashing them in the head with an elbow. Even the stuff you see, like you see injuries in Muay Thai and stuff, it's absolutely brutal. It's disgusting. Even for a fight, even if I was really going to like get into a fight, I mean, when I was doing those kicks to defend myself, they were like kind of controlled to keep the guy back, just scare him back. Excuse me, just scare the guy back a bit, you know what I mean? And it worked, luckily. But it was like controlled, you know. And I've had like training in sparring, so we know about control. But there's some people who go into sparring in kickboxing schools, and some people go in like full blast in sparring to show their ego, and they've got no control, and they end up knocking people the fuck out. It's more dangerous than some of these competitions. And you know, but it's like, you know, if I was to like literally kick somebody in the head or really bust somebody up so bad, I wouldn't feel good in myself at all. Even if someone was trying to rob me, even if they might have been poor or whatever, or whatever, but like, I wouldn't feel good, and I wouldn't have it in me, I don't think, as such, to do such damage to a human being. To break someone's nose. I would just feel so disgusting. I don't know if you've ever had that experience before, maybe in boxing or whatever. But on the street, if I would never be able to break someone up like that. And I hate the sight of blood too. It must be a big pussy, but I just love life and I value human beings and human life. So martial arts is for protecting that. But it's like the techniques are there, and you have to use a certain amount of force and control. And it can't be pussying around. You can't be 50-50. In the martial arts, you've got to be hardcore when you're fighting, otherwise you could get murdered or worse could happen to you. So you have to take yourself in that zombie mindset. You have to go in another mindset and just go for it. The wild, but with control. They say a lot of people say that most fights go to the ground, or most fights in real life, all the martial arts techniques go out the window and it becomes like a brawl. That's because you ain't trained properly. Full stop, right? The technique and the control should be there, but you use very strong force, it should be, right, to win. Like when you strike, you should strike like you mean it, not like pussy half and half. You got to do things in life like you mean it to get the job done. But you know, this is the thing. Where do you go in it? And this is the thing, you know. When someone punches someone in the head on the fight, two guys fighting in a bar or on the street or something, these guys are not thinking, I'm going to be careful then not to kill him or put him in a coma, are they? they're still going with power, and you don't know, the shock of the fight or the adrenaline, or someone might trigger a heart attack or trigger someone high blood pressure anyway. You don't even know that person's condition. Someone might be nervous and they might not seem there, or so emotion filled with rage or whatever it might be, or fear, and that person just dies, or the day after, or from a trauma or something you've done you didn't realise at the time. So attack, even if you were to hit and not even control, you just don't know. And there's people in this world that go talk about things, including young youths who don't have a clue what life means, and that includes, and other people too. There's people in general who talk about that life like it's nothing. They say, I don't give a fuck if they died, you know, I don't give a shit, and that, you know, and all this. And then again, other things like the death sentence and things like this, and people that mass murderers and killers, and then they're sentenced to death, and then you see a massive audience, like the families of the victims, and they go there, and they support it, and they watch, and they say, yeah, good, I hope you rot in hell, and they cheer on, they want to see the guy die, get his revenge. And I think that, to me, it's very sickening. To me, it's just very, very sickening that people can actually glorify, can actually celebrate any kind of violence. But it's like if someone's breaking into your house to attack you or rape your family or whatever, some stranger comes breaking into your house and you want to defend yourself, and you've got to find the nearest thing, and it's a dark room, and you pick up a baseball bat and you're going to smash the guy in the head. You don't want to go to jail, as I say, maybe it's like another thing, or your intention might not be to kill someone, but you're like batting the guy with a baseball bat. You know what I mean? Or you pull a gun out and shoot. You might not shoot in the head, or you might shoot in the leg if it's like a country which, you know, legalises guns. You know, but I'm saying, like, if you're in a country and like you shoot the guy might still die. You just don't know. So I'm just saying, right, inflicting pain on anybody. When you make a wrong mistake, everybody makes mistakes, fair enough, right? But you don't do it foolishly if you're aware that this thing is a negative thing. You steer clear to the positive part. Try to stay closer to the positive path in life, peace and that. So it's like, in life you need to tread carefully, because if you just say, oh, it doesn't matter, I'll just do it, I'll just use a bit of force, or I'll use a little bit of negativity in any situation in life. If you say, right, we'll use the term violence, okay, I'm saying to any level, let's say, if you use a little bit of saying, okay, it's not good, I know, but I'll use this little bit to get me here or there, you know, you might make a mistake, because taking that one little step might lead to after effects, after what do you call it? Percussions, it's cause and effect, and it comes back onto you. You know what I mean? You're walking up a mountain or something, and your feet are like walking in the snow, and you like kick a little stone out or something, and then you cause a massive avalanche, and it comes falling down on you. You know what I mean, though? You know what I mean? No, so I'm just saying, you know, this is the truth. So violence might come back to you. You see what I'm trying to say? It's like some kind of like little animal or something that's trying to play games with like a big animal, like trying to bug him or something, you know, and then like a cartoon, you know, and then like the big animal ends up eating the small animal. You know, well, you know, you shouldn't put yourself in stupid situations. You know what I mean? So, you know, don't put yourself in dangerous or in the face of violence just to be a hero, and don't try to stand and beat it with violence. There's two wrongs don't make a right. The same way as those violent people are wrong in what they're doing. So, violence again, there's a lot of violence in the world. Too much violence in the world, right? Domestic violence in the families, violence in the schools, violence in jobs, sometimes workplaces. There's bullying, there's harassment, there's abusive, this and that, bullying on all levels too. Negative, as I call it, you know, we call it people's minds, negative, the way their outlook on people and how they treat others in general. You know, there's wars, there's gang crime, there's wars, there's all kinds of violence you can think of, okay? There's, you know, riots that go on. How prepared would you be if you was in a riot situation? Things like this, you know. Riot police and things like that have to train for things like that. I will. But what we're saying is you can't control other people's level of violence, sadly. But you can control your own self to dilute it as such, you know what I mean? But it's like two people shouting at each other, it's like two dogs barking at each other, you know, one gets louder, the other one gets more louder, and what's going to happen in the end? You're going to end up with a sore throat, or you both are, and you're not going to be able to communicate the next day even if you wanted to, because you lost your throat. And there must be a philosophy in there somewhere for your life. So, you get into a fight, you punch the guy in the face, he's got a black eye, you've punched his face 1,000,000 times because he called you a dickhead, or he said you're stupid, he said fuck your mother, and he's, you know, and he says something about your wife. But you're punching the guy in the eye, you've got a black eye, and the next day you've got a broken wrist and you're in hospital. And you can't do your job, you can't go back to work to do your job for a while, it's affected your life, maybe you're an artist, a writer, a drawer, you know what I mean? And you got, or whatever it might be, you know, you can't even scratch your ass, you can't even cook yourself a meal. So, you've lost more from it. The chances are, you will, if you pursue violence, and if you go for a violent situation, and you try to be violent, or try to, you know, counterattack violence with violence. If you put yourself in the face of violence, there's a chance of you being hurt. But if you be violent, there's also a chance of you being harmed. And there's always things from every situation, from every step you take. There's always a chance that there's things that you don't see. Not even something, but some things. There's lots of things that you don't know might come from that. Like we said about taking the rock out and then an avalanche comes, you know. You just don't know. So you could get a lot more. You know, you get into an argument with someone, or you say something you shouldn't have in this day and age, and you end up losing your job for it, you know what I mean? And you just didn't think at the time, or you end up, you know, slapping your wife, and then the next day your wife and your kids have gone, you know, and you never to be seen again and things like that. I'm not saying you, I'm just saying personally, you know, things like that. It's like, damn, and you've got to think about that and get on with that. So it's like, things need to be studied. And it's like, things take time to study. You've got to study your life to learn to be patient. You've got to understand, not being foolish and you just say, oh, I can be patient. No, you've got to learn to understand your life and understand others. But that takes time, and the true thing is, sometimes you can't wait, it has to be right now, and because you don't understand other people straight away, the same way as they can't understand you, you've got to look at it with the same, and you've got to look at it as like, okay, I might as well just be patient and stop right here, because otherwise I'm going to make a wrong mistake. If I don't understand something, I'm going to make a mistake. So be patient as you would be, as if you would have already studied this situation for 10 years or whatever, and now you've come to this point. Even though you haven't studied it and it's like a brand new situation, look at every situation as though you are calm and you've already got some kind of experience and understanding behind it. Because even though you don't understand the other person's way of thinking, it's a human being just like you are. And there's times in our lives where we all are like that. Like I've said already, you might have a negative outlook, you might have an idea about someone, or you look at someone on the street and you go, or you think in your mind, that guy is pathetic, or something, or that guy has said. And that in itself is like a kind of attack in a way, a violent attack on someone, because like you didn't say anything, they don't even know what you're thinking about. It's like you already got some kind of hate or some kind of nasty thought against them when you don't really know them totally, but it's just a mistake already. But it's like, if someone's being really negative outwardly and you can see it, then obviously fair enough. If someone's being negative, fair enough, it is kind of pathetic, and you would think that, and you want to do better at least. It's a difference between like thinking badly about people, and then, you know, and then thinking that you want to do better than what you are seeing, in the knowing that what you are seeing is only what you are seeing, and it might not be totally true, and there might be something more to that. But you are always trying to give yourself a positive way of thinking and saying, I want to learn more, I want to improve myself more. But the more you communicate with people, the better. And if you don't have like such a good chance to communicate with others, with that person, or if they don't want to communicate, then you have to go back to yourself and focus on your own energy. Don't focus on arguing with people or getting more and more worked up. We're getting into arguments with people. So arguments lead to fights. Negative thoughts lead to negative actions, words, actions, and all of that. And spreading, you might say something about someone behind someone's back, or someone else might say something about someone behind their back. You might not be thinking too much, or it might be too much, and you'll agree with that person. You'll start talking about someone behind their back, regardless of if it was you or that person setting you up or whatever. But you might end up finding the next day that other people are talking about you. Because if you chuck shit around in your house, you're going to have a shitty house. Full stop, right? If you want to be invisible, like the ninja way, so I'm trying to say you've got to put that philosophy into your life. So, be invisible. Don't talk too much. Don't tell everybody everything you're thinking. And if it's negative, don't be ashamed to sometimes say you don't know, ask a question, or say your point of view, but don't force it on people and ramble. Just say, I think this or that, or to me, I would, blah, blah, blah. Don't go around telling people that they're living their life the wrong way and, oh, this is what it should be. No, you're wrong. Let me tell you, or let me give you some advice. Even if you hear that, it's not too, who are you to give people advice? Who are they to give you advice? It's your life. Even friendly advice and constructive criticism, no, that's not the point. Well, I agree with you, but you should blah blah blah. You should blah blah blah. You need to do that. What's that about? Why would people say that? No, you just say, in my opinion, I would do things differently. Yeah, you can say that. In my opinion, I don't agree with this because, not it is, but to me, in my opinion, blah blah blah. If you would like to know, if you don't want to know, I don't want to ramble. Just cut it right there. If they want to know more, then you tell them. Because you've got to learn to communicate and you've got to understand in life. And say that I'm coming from this standpoint, I understand that you're coming from your standpoint. I would not do things that way because I wouldn't want to live that way. If they would like to know, if there's someone come up to you and said, well, tell me more, what would your ideas be and why would you do things differently? Then that means they would like to know, and they're open-minded people, they'd like to learn. Maybe they'd take what your ideas are and they might take that home and think about it, and they might come back to you one day and thank you for all the advice or help, as such they might say. And it's like, it's not like you deserve it or they deserve something or this or that. It's just, no one owes anyone anything. Thank you, sorry, please. It's not that. It's our own egos. It's just like, but we're helping ourselves at the end of the day. Rather than going around hurting ourselves, especially by hurting other people and being so unforgiving. Now, physical violence, though, I totally disagree with. I hate it, right? Bullying and that, the stuff that goes on in schools, there's got to be more to be done to protect kids from bullying. I do believe that, right? Because I was bullied when I was a kid, and the stuff in this day and age is unbelievable. And the violence amongst the youths, and even violence towards elderly, or also older and elderly people from younger generations, is just absolutely pathetic. The lack of respect in some cultures now with some young people is just unbelievable. I grew up in the 80s, fair enough. I was just saying that, looking back over the years, from the 80s, 70s and before that, the 50s, whatever, it just shows to me that the people of the generation, past generations, like my nan, my grandmother and that, people were so much more genuine and more nice, nicer and more genuine in those days. And now people are got everything, and they got greedy kids, spoilt brat kids who've got everything, and they're so out of touch with human nature and the real world and their emotions. All it is this fake world. They're on Facebook and that. Facebook's good, I know, and YouTube, I love it like this, but it's we're coming from a real point of view, but some of these youths and that, they ain't coming from a reality. They're coming from phones, money, who's wearing the best trainers, yeah, rude boy and all this, and they ain't got a fucking clue, excuse my language, what life's really about. And they might have seen violence, and they might have seen their parents fighting or splitting up, and that. It's like kids and stuff, who never forgive their parents who split up or something and left them when they was a kid. It's just unbelievable. And to me, it's just something. I'm just the kind of person who's always got forgiveness and understanding for people, because people live their own lives. I'm not somebody else to judge other people. I'm just me. It's like my parents, splitting up and things like that over the years. But it's like things like that. I'm not going to blame my parents, you know what I mean? And say, well, they were so, they've destroyed my life. I'm going to, because of that, I'm going to join a gang. And it's like, oh no, not at all. What I'm saying is, people have their own lives. Even your parents. Everyone's got their own minds. So you can't go around blaming people for the way they think or the choices they make in their life or the mistakes they do. just keep in control of your own life. Try to learn good and do good and steer clear from violence. So the basic thing though, because I'm rambling again, beating about the bushes, running around the houses, the basic thing is like, is violence okay in some situations? Violence is never okay, fair enough, full stop. But how do I see it? Is like, if we are to say we can only do what we can do, and we need to be wise about things, then fighting, martial arts and that, if you've got to save your life, you've got to do the best thing that's going to prevent the worst thing going, alright? So if you've got to fight for the defence of your life, I would definitely say you'd have, in my point of view, I would do it, you know. So I say, I'd defend myself. Because you just don't know in this day and age, and I wouldn't put anything past human beings. You don't want to be taken away, tortured, and whatever, beaten up or robbed. Then you're going to have to stand up if you can, if you can't run away. Fight if you can't run away, you know. And you're going to have, the same way as you're going to have to run away if you're already, or try to run away if you're in that situation already. But it should be that you're trying to avoid all situations. But sometimes things pop up, and you need to divert it, use mind games, use language, use all kind of tactics if you can, or pretend you're stupid, or you don't understand, or pretend you're a foreigner, or pretend you're more clever, or use different ways to kind of change the person's mind, use mind games and become smart before you use your fists. You know, your mind comes before your fist. The mind comes before the hand, becomes before the step. And before you have the mind and the thinking, you've got to read. If you want to be a good writer, you've got to be a good reader. So you study the world around you and what people want. But never go trust in a stranger who's like, or anyone who's telling you they're going to help you, follow me. You've got to know to be wise and always aware and be prepared for the unexpected, they say. Don't just follow someone around a corner or down the street who starts chatting to you and you're like, you're unaware, because that person could pull a knife or gun out or whatever, or someone could be waiting around the corner. That person could lead you to the shit, because if it's a complete stranger too, it can happen with people you think you know very well, even. I'm saying with strangers, you can't put anything past human beings. Always be ready. Always be ready to, as quick as that, get yourself away from a person, keep a metre or two distance, a leg distance away at least. So you're able to bust them with some leashing out kicks, you know, you know, lash out with those kicks. I mean, I'm just saying, like, make sure you're not always be wary of people. It's like you've got to be wary of cars, even when you're crossing the street, you've got to be wary of cars that are stopped there. They might start driving and run you down like a nutcase. Or there might be, you know, things that happen in life, just unexpected things. You see things in the news, and accidents, natural disasters, or a plane crash, or whatever. You just don't know, so you've got to be ready for what life might throw at you, at the best you can. And however well your abilities are that can stand up and help yourself survive these things depends on your training, which is martial arts is about, you know. But I was just saying, you don't want to be standing beside someone who just pulls a knife out and stabs you. You have to be wary of everyone around you. You could be on a bus, someone could pull a knife out, stick it in your neck or your back. I'm not trying to give you, you know, paranoia. I'm just saying, someone you just don't know. Mentally ill. I've met people in this life who are like schizophrenic, mad. People that just speak and they're obviously out of their mind. And I've seen people who do crazy things. I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I've seen people that use, don't know, I mean, you couldn't put anything past. So if someone was to turn their violence on you, it could be something that can't be erased or, you know, turned back. You know, if someone was to hurt you so badly from their stupid actions, you might be in the wrong place at the wrong time. You know, or if someone who's going to turn around, might even kill you even, or like poke you in the eye by accident, that's it, one eye's gone for the rest of your life. For fuck's sake, you know what I'm trying to say? Or turns around and accidentally bumps into you in the train station and you fall down the stairs or fall down into the train tracks and the underground, you know, tube train just runs you the fuck down. There you are, that's it. Accidents may happen, you say. Or you might just slip over, lean in to pick something up or slip over. Anything can happen. So you need to be really careful in your life, and you need to train balance and control and be prepared for the unexpected. It doesn't just mean, I'll be aware now. You've got to train awareness over time. You've got to train, and the physical training, the martial arts, helps you train that to bring your senses, your mind and body together in control too. When you're going down the street, try to be aware of things around you, take note of little things, try to train your hearing for things far away, and your eyesight, how good's that, you know, and things like that, and take care of your health. Get good sleep, you know, we should be doing all the good things, you know, for our body, try and take care of our health, eat better, healthy and that. I don't eat the most healthy diet, but I'm just saying that we should be trying to balance our lives out more. and that way we can live a more longer life, hopefully, and a more healthy life. But fighting and violence is always wrong, of course. Okay, so it's not always good to, I don't promote violence, okay, at all. Even though I talk about all these deadly techniques and all these crushing techniques in the martial arts, it's all for self-defense, and I'm just explaining the most dangerous situations if you ever need to use certain techniques to defend yourself. And the most important thing is all the control, and a lot of the stuff you won't ever use, including the forms and stuff, and then the physical moves to you for fighting. But there's so many techniques you will use, and so much of the exercise you will, or can, or might have to. But it's like, it's all for the control of yourself, that's what it basically ultimately is. So violence comes from a place of no control, hate, darkness, fear, all those crazy things, come from the rage from inside of you. It's not patient, it's not martial arts either. It's not natural for a human being, and it's not healthy. It's natural for us to have different emotions, and natural for us to be unlearned as such in certain things. It takes time to study and learn in life. But it's like the most important thing is like you learn to be in control of yourself, I think, okay? So steer clear from violence. It comes from greed and the fake bullshit that people make up in society. That's what I'll say, okay? You've got to stay clear on nature. Go against that, you destroy yourself. You can't, you know what I mean? But it's like, you know what I mean? It's like sometimes positivity can't destroy negativity, but remember, negativity can't destroy positivity, so be positive, why not? You're not dead, you're alive. And respect the next man or woman, respect anyone you can around you, and always value those who are kind and nice to you, and try to bring yourself into a positive frame of mind every day, and keep yourself happy and healthy, and other people too. Try and pass on good vibes. Thank you very much. That's why I'm doing these videos. Thank you very much. I'll be showing you lots of training techniques too, okay, for your health, and fighting techniques for kicking ass. Okay, if you really need to. I'm just saying, okay. So thank you very much. Train hard and stay safe. Thank you for watching. Okay, thank you very much.